All right, and we're live. Welcome to this edition of S.W.A.T.MMA, coming to you from Las Vegas, Nevada, the fight capital of the world, and the recreational weed home as well. Right, Paul?
Hell yeah.
How you doing today, brother?
Good, man. How's your 420?
It was great. Happy 420 to everybody.
Yep. Thanks, everyone, for getting us up to 420 followers. For 420.
Yep, we hit 420 subscribers on our YouTube channel on 420, which that was pretty cool. Thanks, everybody. And right now, we're getting ready to fire up some Skywalker OG on this joint right here. Excuse me. I've got some Jack Herer distillate in the vape pen here. That's rocking 90% THC, which this is pretty cool because it's virtually like hitting a dab.
Yeah. I mean,
got a little bit of chocolate OG here, grown by Verano. That's a house brand down at Zen Leaf Dispensary here in Vegas, one of my favorites. How's that tasting, brother?
It's nice, man.
So last night we had several interesting fights that we're going to get to here in a minute.
Yeah.
Like you said, we want to thank everybody for tuning in to our first episode that came out last week. That means a lot to us.
Hell yeah.
We got some...
It's only getting better from here.
That's right. We're working on some good content for everybody. We've got International Fight Week coming up, right, Paul?
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get down there, try to get a lot of... Get our name out there to everyone, you know?
We're trying to get up with some fighters.
Yeah.
See if we can get some interviews, some fun footage from what's going on down there. Give everybody a little bit of flavor of what happens here in Vegas on Fight Week.
Hell yeah.
We got some interviews lined up, some local fighters, some buddy of ours that got some amateur fights coming up. We're going to get them on the show here either before or after those fights, depending on their camp schedule.
Yeah, definitely. Got to support the local scene as well.
Absolutely. That's the great thing about being here in Las Vegas is being the fight capital of the world. We've got all kinds of MMA.
Oh, yeah.
We've got professional fighters that live here, amateur fighters, UFC fighters, Bellator.
Plus, just going out in Las Vegas, you can see a lot of different fighters. There's plenty of different fighters I've seen just out and about, you know?
Absolutely. Lots of them live here. Of course, Floyd lives here. He's all over town as well.
Yeah, Misha Tate lives here, too.
Misha Tate lives here. Kevin Lee lives here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, big winner last night. And Ngannou's here training at the Performance Institute.
Obviously, the Performance Institute attracts a bunch of different fighters.
That's another place we're going to try and get out to, folks, is the Performance Institute. See what we can show you from out there, what kind of cool information we can bring.
Hell yeah. Like I said, it only gets better from here.
That's right. Now, that's some tasty herb. I like that. Did you roll that yourself or did you buy a pre-roll?
Rolled it at the house.
That's what I'm talking about. These raw papers are nice, too.
Fuck yeah, man. It just changes the game, too, you know? Like, before you'd have to, you know, roll it out, and you're like, you know, if you're not too good at rolling joints, you end up rolling skimpy-ass joints, and now fucking you got these basically, like, pre-rolls. You just stuff them and get it going.
Absolutely. It's a good time in the marijuana industry. And, folks, you know,
yeah.
The fact is most of you listening to this don't live in a state that has recreational or medicinal marijuana yet, but change is coming. That is bullshit, but change is coming.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
On that note, speaking of Kevin Lee living here in Las Vegas, he's coming back a winner.
Pretty dominant win.
It was a very dominant win. I was pretty surprised. The thing that stood out to me, Paul, was two things. Number one, I was pretty surprised to see Kevin Lee winning exchanges on the feet with Edson Barboza. What did you think about that?
Well, here's the thing. I think Edson Barboza, his psyche is like, there's something with him, man. His last two fights, he just doesn't look himself anymore. I don't know if it's fatigue. He's been fighting for so long. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's just not the guy we're used to seeing.
No, he's not, Paul. I was thinking the same thing. He, against Nurmi, and then again last night, he looks like he has no idea how to deal with pressure.
Nurmagomedov made him look like an amateur, dude. It was sad. And honestly, Kevin Lee almost did the same thing last night.
Kevin Lee followed the same recipe. I mean...
Well, he just unlocked the code on how to beat him.
That seems to be what just happened. Is it looks like Edson right now can't deal with that extreme pressure.
No, not at all. Which is strange, though, because he comes from a camp that has a lot of pressure, like wrestlers, a lot of tough fighters. Like, you know, trains with Marlon Moraes, trains with Frankie Edgar, trains with Eddie Alvarez, but it just can't seem to translate in the octagon, and that's what that's what makes me think it's all in his head. You know, there's a certain level of fighting that he's at right now that you have to be accustomed to, or you're gonna get eaten alive. And honestly, it just seems like mentally he's not accustomed to being in that main event slot against the toughest guy in the division who could possibly be up for a title shot next if you beat him. But at the end of the day, he's just not ready for that spotlight, I feel like. And some guys are never going to be, you know. Cowboy's very similar situation. There's just sometimes there's this switch that goes off when you're in that spotlight, and it's fight or flight, you know. And some guys
have it, and some guys
together,
don't.
You know,
absolutely. I think you could pretty much see that happen in the Nurmagomedov fight. The look on his face, I think it was starting in the second round. Yeah, he looked like a deer in the headlights, and "get me out of here" was written all over his face. It was like Nurmi broke him there. And that's sad to see. I like Barboza. He's an excellent fighter, but
he's an excellent fighter, but
I think I
just don't think he's ever going to be a champion in the UFC. I think if he were to leave the UFC for a different organization, he'd definitely have a great chance at winning a championship, but just not in the UFC. And it's not his fault. This lightweight division is fucking Shark City.
It's the toughest division in MMA. 100% toughest division in MMA. I'm just like you mentioned. He comes from such a strong camp of wrestlers. I'm really surprised that it doesn't seem he doesn't seem to be able to deal with the pressure wrestling game.
Real strange. Because you'd think they do that. You know, that's what I'm just saying, though. Because then when you talk to hear interviews with guys like Frankie Edgar, with Eddie Alvarez, Marlon Moraes, all these guys they talk about his wrestling is so good inside the camp that no one can take him down, and this and that and the other. And it's just like, you see him in the octagon, and you're just like, what the hell are they talking about?
Lee took him down on his first attempt.
All
credit to Kevin Lee.
Nurmagomedov just beat the shit out of him with takedowns.
All credit to Kevin Lee. We're not saying that he didn't earn that with his superior wrestling last night. He's a hell of a wrestler, but it's a mixture of two things here. You know, it's Kevin Lee's skills mixed with Barboza's mental games. I think you nailed it on the head.
I think it's mental, and it's causing I don't know. It's not that he doesn't have the skills to beat those guys, because I've seen him fight like guys like Tony Ferguson and take him to the brink, but then it's just like, now something's wrong with him. Like, I don't know if it's mental, physical, whatever. Just like something that was in his game before, that grit is just not there anymore. I feel like he lost it after he got choked out by Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, that's good. That could be it right there. Well, let's talk about Kevin Lee. Does Kevin Lee get a title shot now after this?
I think Kevin Lee, two guys that have been in main events since our last episode. You know, Dustin Poirier and Kevin Lee, both were in two fights they did not need to fight. If anything, they should have just fought each other, because they both took fights against guys who are not at their level. Lee, he just lost to Tony Ferguson. That knocks him back. These rankings are bullshit. Everyone knows that Lee is in a better spot than Edson Barboza right now. That was not... Barboza shouldn't have been ranked ahead of him at all.
100% agree with that.
And then Poirier at the same time just beat Gaethje. Let's say he's top 4 now. Really, to break that middle of the pack in that 4 to 6, I think Lee and Poirier need to fight now.
I love that fight. I think that fight, it would be great.
It's the only one that makes sense.
Who does Nurmi wind up fighting then? Or do they keep him on ice until we see what happens with Conor? Because we can talk all we want about title shots. Kevin Lee can call out who he wants. Nurmi can say what he wants. Conor still looms over the division.
Yeah, I think it's a strange situation you find yourself in now. Because Ferguson's probably going to be out, I say, at least another 3 to 4 months.
That's
maybe
a
longer.
Nasty scar.
Yeah.
Nasty surgery going down the side of his leg there,
and then,
folks.
Who knows if the UFC waits for this whole legal situation with Conor to pan out before they plan a fight with him, which could end up taking forever, man, because now we're talking a hearing in June. Let's just say that things get pushed back, because a lot of court A lot of times in court, shit just keeps getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and just stupid pre-hearings and stupid shit like that just takes a long time. And is UFC willing to wait that long? Is the question.
Would the UFC book him while that legal strife is going on?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine they're doing everything they can behind the scenes to end this out of court.
Yeah, of course. You know it's all going to be settlement here, settlement there, settlement everywhere. Like everybody's getting a piece of the pie at this point.
Absolutely. So, let's take Conor out of it, Ferguson's therefore out of it for at least a few months with that knee surgery.
Definitely.
That's a wicked surgery he just went through. He's got a horrible scar.
Fuck yeah, it looks gross.
So that's going to take a long time to heal. So we're stuck with Kevin Lee. If Kevin Lee and Poirier fight, what does Nurmagomedov do?
Goes and trains with bears for the next year.
Well, how about Eddie Alvarez hanging out there in the background? Do you think the UFC?
I don't think Eddie Alvarez deserves it though, because I think he lost that Poirier fight.
Yeah, they say according to Poirier that he's turned down that five times. No,
because he doesn't want that again.
That's one side of the argument there. That's one side of the equation. But
I hate when people say shit like that though, because it's always this camp versus the next camp. He said, she said, we turned it down, but they offered it at this weight. Like, you know what I mean?
Right. They offered it this weight or not enough money. There was lots of other mitigating factors.
They wanted us to co-main event instead of the main event, and I didn't want that because I wanted a piece of the pay-per-view. It's like, there's just so much behind the scenes shit that when people like sit there and say, hey, well, that guy's turned down 4 fights, it's like, yeah, but did he turn them down because they're bullshit, or did he turn them down because he didn't want to fight the person? Because just like if Poirier would have turned down the fight with Gaethje, everyone would be like, oh, he's scared of Gaethje, but at the end of the day, he should have never even fought him, because Gaethje right now is, I don't want to say he's not on his level, but Gaethje, the way he fights right now, is causing him not to be on anybody's level, because he just goes in there and throws till he dies.
I don't know if he can win fights at this level with that style.
Yeah, you're not in the World Series of Fighting anymore, bud. You're going to have to do something.
No, he's the only fighter at
He's
that.
got 5 fights out of it.
He's the only fighter at this level that his significant strikes, he's absorbing more than he's dishing out.
Yeah,
which is a frightening statistic.
Yeah.
When they're matching him against the top guys in the division. Well, we've got 5 contenders basically
it's
for
like
the belt, right?
CTE though, man.
Oh, it's a terrible thing. I agree.
I feel bad for the guy because that shit's permanent, dude.
It is. I feel my viewpoints on Gaethje changing a little bit after this last fight, and seeing him take that damage like that.
But at the same time, he was in that shit, man, till the end.
That's the thing.
It's hard to fucking argue it when he's fucking still.
He could have won that fight. That's the thing.
Let's say he doesn't kick Poirier in the balls, and Poirier doesn't have that like 4.5 minute break. Poirier was going fucking down.
Mm-hmm.
Gaethje's just fucking. He's an animal, but at the same time, he's gonna fucking hurt him. He's like Rocky, dude. That's like perfect example, dude. It's like, oh, Rocky movies are so great to watch, but then why the fuck does everyone end with like him, like half retarded, like broke?
Right,
and shit?
old
like,
Rocky's
you know
half
retarded,
retarded, broke, can't
damn.
talk. Exactly, and we don't want
like,
that. We don't want to see that.
I don't want to see that happen to anybody.
Fuck no, absolutely not. And that's the way I felt in this last fight, was that he was really taking damage. It's not necessary if he would just employ some fucking defense.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Right. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like,
also,
why?
Well, he's basically out of the lightweight title picture, but we're looking at 5 contenders, right?
Yeah.
But 2 of them are out because Conor with his legal problems out.
Conor's legal problems.
T. Ferg's out with his knee. So we're left with 3. See, that's why I think that the UFC is going to pair 2 of them off and give 1 to Nurmi. So how are they going to do it? We've got Poirier, we've got Lee, we've got Alvarez.
Who's got the biggest win? 2 guys have won against the same guy.
Dude, it's what have you done for me lately in the UFC? Who's got the biggest win would be Kevin Lee tonight.
Did he, though? Because then he misses weight. He's missed weight 2 fights in a row. Well, I mean, the title fight he didn't miss weight, but he damn near did. And it's just, like, tough, man. I don't know. It's just tough to watch. Like, how do you continue to give this guy top level fights if he's not going to make weight? How can you ever trust him to ever fight for the title if he's going to miss weight?
He fucked himself
Yeah.
with the weight. And his attitude afterward didn't help either with his bullshit about, I just ran out of time. Nah, dog. The weight cut starts months ago, bro. Months ago.
Ran out of time.
I fucking hate that excuse.
No, yeah.
So, that's a good point.
It's just, when you look at Alvarez and Poirier, now they legitimately are either going to have to fight again for the number one contender fight, because it's like Lee kind of disqualified himself when he missed weight. I don't want to say like completely disqualified himself, but it means he's got to take another like down low fight. You know, like I could see him fighting, you know, somebody like in that range. You know, where it's gonna be not gonna be a great fight, but you need this fight before you can fight for like the number one contender or the next title shot. You know.
So that's probably what they're going to do, because I think we both forgot about Ramadan.
Yeah.
Nurmagomedov's going to be out of it for a while as it is. He usually takes off quite a long period of time.
So he said he wants to fight in November next.
See, that could line up with Conor
MSG.
McGregor. Because if you think about...
okay, if his hearing's in June, well, let's say it
McGregor's?
It's in June. So my whole thing is, the court system is a big process. It's the problem, dude. I just don't see them booking that fight until that shit's done.
I don't know. They booked Ozdemir while he was under criminal charges.
Yeah, but he already booked and then got that shit happened after. They just didn't pull him.
Well, this is Conor McGregor, though. The
Yeah,
UFC is in
if they're
dire
gonna
need
make
of
this
some
fight,
Conor
though-
McGregor cash money.
Yeah, but if they're going to make this fight, they're going to need Conor McGregor, the PR as well. And they're going to need him to go everywhere. And if he's dealing with legal trouble, he's going to have to get this, that, and the other permission to go to this country, and this country, and to go this place, and this place.
Well, they'd hold it in Vegas. What if they're holding it in New York?
That's what I'm saying.
And they're in New York.
If it's November at MSG. What the fuck? What if they don't want him to fight in New York because of what happened?
The only charge that he's got to worry about is the criminal mischief
Fuck
charge, which...
Yeah. I don't even know what even the max penalty that is for.
Let's be honest, he's a first-time offender.
Yeah, but he's also...
And he's a famous person.
Here's the deal, though. He's also from another country, which I think is a big X factor in this court case, which is like...
Well, if he gets convicted of a felony being from another country, he's fucked, because he's not going to be allowed in here.
Yeah, he's taking his visa and sending it back.
With this terrorist fucking world we live in,
he's
going to get fucked like that.
Which
but
sets up an even better fight for both them in Russia. Or both them in Dublin.
I'd be shocked if McGregor gets a felony. I mean...
Yeah, I would be too. But I'm talking worst case scenario here.
I'm thinking he's going to be looking at a lot of community service. He's going to be looking at a fine.
Yeah, I could see that as well.
And we'll leave the civil crap out of it.
Big public apology and all this shit.
Yeah, he's going to make some fucking commercials for New York. Some anti-bullying shit to run for New York schools. All kinds of shit like that.
Yeah.
And I don't think the UFC is going to do much. They might give him the type of suspension that correlates with when they want to have the fucking fight anyways.
Yeah,
So they'll give him a 6-month suspension, but he wasn't going to fight for 6 months till November anyways.
Yeah.
It's going to be some token bullshit.
It all makes sense. But at the same time, I don't know. Because really, how long do you think Ferguson's out?
6 months.
Think so? 6 months? Because I looked up and it said it's about a 4-month recovery, but like at the same time he's a high level fighter, so it's gonna take a little bit longer to get back in the swing of things.
Well, do you mean how long he's out before he can maintain camp, or how long he's out before he can have another fight?
Before he fights.
6 months.
Think so?
Yeah, I think he could do 4 months of recovery and have a camp.
That puts him out of the picture, though. But at the same time, Poirier's out for 6 months now, too.
He's got that. But that can get lowered, though. His your medical suspension could get medically cleared prior to that being up.
But I think that just makes all the sense for why Alvarez could get under Nurmagomedov fight. Former champ. Fucking, I guess you can call it.
I like the fight.
I guess on a weird way you can call it no contest with Poirier is like doesn't matter, I guess.
I guess.
And then I think a good fight of the night, fight of the year candidate fight with Gaethje gets you, I guess, the title shot nowadays. Like that's what just sucks about like the time we live in this weight class, because this weight class is in so much like on so much hold on so many levels, because people aren't fighting and people are suspended and people are injured and the champion is not really the champion and who knows who the real champion is, and there's 3 different fucking champions in one division. What the hell? What is going on?
It's the most fucked division in MMA.
It just doesn't make any sense, dude.
There's not much the UFC can do right now to provide clarity with Ramadan coming up for Khabib.
He's
Ferguson out with his knee. Obviously, we just talked about Conor.
I can see Poirier Alvarez rematch probably makes the most sense, and I can see Poirier, obviously, like we talked about, getting cleared earlier, and they end up fighting on maybe like International Fight Week or something like that.
You think Nate Diaz will swoop into the picture for a fight?
Fuck no, he just wants Conor, dude. He wants Conor so bad. But then the fucking what looms as well is, I hate to say it, but even this stupid Mayweather shit, dude. And then behind that, people are talking about the RDA shit. So who the fuck even knows if Conor's even fighting lightweight anymore?
Wouldn't that be some shit if Conor just says fuck it and comes back and fights at welterweight?
That's a bad place.
I don't want to see him at welterweight. He's too small.
Him versus Wonder Boy.
Oh,
psych.
Wonder Boy's 6'1".
Yeah.
I mean, get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Dude.
Like, I don't want to see that.
You know why, though? But the perfect fight for him at welterweight is RDA.
Yes.
He would take RDA, take that interim belt, and be like, ha ha ha, I have an interim belt, and like fucking hold the UFC up again. Watch. Because he just doesn't fucking care, dude. He just doesn't care. That's what it is. At this point, he just does not give a fuck.
0 fucks given. Which, as much as I love Conor, I'm disappointed at what it's doing to the sport, because
I just wish he'd fight like he used to, man.
Yeah, man, please.
Anytime, anywhere. Now it's, fuck that, pay me, bitch, and then we'll think about it.
It'd have been alright if he hadn't thrown the goddamn dolly through the window of the bus.
Yeah, that changed things.
It's a dumb fucking move. If we get some resolution there in June, like perhaps we'll be singing a different song after his court case.
Yeah, if everything just goes perfectly, I see him, Nurmagomedov, in MSG, lightweight title. That's the main event, and then they always do that. July's the super fight card, and then November's the super fight card.
Right.
I could see that November card being like Conor, Khabib, and then maybe like the number 1 contender fight for the lightweight title being like Ferguson versus Poirier, or Ferguson versus Alvarez, or Ferguson versus, I don't know if he'll fight Lee again though.
Now, I speculate. I agree with everything you're saying, except I don't think MSG is going to get that fight. I think they're going to. I think they're going to put it here in Vegas. I think that the Conor bust incident will
stop the New York State Athletic Commission from letting him fight.
No, I think the UFC would be concerned about safety up during the fight, after it, an incident occurring. Whereas here in Vegas, it's much tighter controlled. Like fans, there can still come Russian fans can come. Look at the Irish. We've both been here when the Irish rolled through. The Russians can still come too, but it's not like in fucking New York. And you mix that with the fact that New York takes a massive amount of taxes out of fighters' paychecks, which Conor and Nurmi's not going to want to pay either.
Yeah, but they both said they want to be on that card, is what makes me think that that's what's going on.
We'll see what happens. If we're wagering some cash money, I'd say that's the fight that happens in November, but it happens right here.
In November still?
Yeah, it's the time frame that works out.
If it's here, I
maybe
think
December.
If it's here, I think it's like that first week of December card. They have like the first week of December card. They have like another card right before New Year's. I could see it being either one of those.
Dude, if it's here, we'd be hooked up.
Fuck yeah, that'd be sick. Dude, I've been to a Conor McGregor weigh-in, dude. It is fucking great.
Oh, yeah, I've been to all his weigh-ins out here. Yeah,
every fucking nuts.
Every weigh-in here that he's been out to, we've been to.
It's more exciting than the fight, dude.
There's some
it's
absolutely
more intense than the fight sometimes.
There's some pretty famous footage in MSG of the Irish causing a big scene after one of the weigh-ins.
Yeah.
It was all over ESPN. There's footage on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was right in the middle of that with my daughter. We were right there. We just got stuck with it. We couldn't roll anywhere because there was no moving through there. So it was cool. You could see us in a little bit on the ESPN footage.
That's funny.
But, you know, that's whatever. But the experience of being in that crowd with the vibe from all those dudes. And
I was there when he fought Poirier, and they
awesome.
were fucking crazy, man.
Yeah,
they were standing at the bottom of the escalators, singing, and fucking, dude, they smelled like a fucking brewery.
Absolutely. There was beer all over the floor, man. It was really cool, man. It was an experience that I will never forget.
It's super fun.
So, like...
That's when people ask why Conor McGregor's so big, that's like the essence of why he's so big right there. He just has such a cult following that they don't give a fuck what he does. You know, they're just like...
Absolutely.
They're just down for what the fuck.
And you can't help but get caught up in it.
Hell yeah, dude.
Especially when it's all around you. The singing, the flag waving.
And the story behind it all is just so... There's no one who cannot relate with what he... Like, you know, just a kid from... You know, never had a lot of money, you know, just fucking... Going and fucking pretty much living the American dream. It's a fucking...
Well, you saw Notorious, right? I encourage everybody to listen. It's on Netflix now.
It's a really,
check that out.
It's
Notorious.
a good documentary. It's pretty sick, dude. He has had people following with cameras since he was fucking had nothing, dude.
Nothing. Not even the money for gym equipment. He had cameras following him, and they turned it all into a documentary leading right up to
badass.
the Mayweather fight.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was really good. Even if you're a Conor McGregor hater, I'd encourage you to watch it.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Most people hate Conor for the persona that he projects. You're like, let's leave this last incident out of the conversation. But it's real. His persona's real, but it's just him turned up to level 10.
Yeah.
You know? He's a pretty respectful and nice individual.
Like, you see it, too, when you watch this documentary, because, like, you just see him, like, normally, like, in the back, just acting like a normal guy.
Yeah,
as soon as those lights hit him, he's like, whole different person. He's just like, oh, and like, you know.
Yep.
It's crazy.
The switch gets flipped for
yeah,
sure.
Definitely.
But that's what makes him a special athlete.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's
what makes him him.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day.
Because he can do that, and he knows how to do it in a way that a lot of people will respond to.
Yeah. And he, like, I don't know what he does, man, but he fucking just, like, talks shit about every insecurity nobody knew you had. But at the end of the day, it's like nobody fucking, like, no one can just roll off the top of the dome talking shit like Conor in the whole
he's got a real
UFC,
skill.
Dude.
Real skill with that. And he's a real student of the fight game, too. If you ever hear Conor talk about the fight game, he knows his shit. He's definitely a true martial artist.
Yeah.
You know, all the bullshit and the talk and the shtick aside, he's a very, very, very talented fighter.
Well, and when you hear other fighters talk about him, it's like, no wonder everyone says, oh, Conor's just Conor. Because at the end of the day, they know he's not really a bad guy. He just knows how to make his fucking money.
Look at him and Uriah Faber. When they had that tough season, you could tell they're friends now.
They're homies,
it's so
but
funny.
At the end of the day, it's like they're fucking with each other, talking shit, like fake fights and shit like that, dude. It's like...
Absolutely.
Did you see when Conor was going to fight... Who was it? And they were in the back, and they fucking wrestled each other in the fucking... on the way to fucking the back before his fight, dude. He's wrestling Uriah Faber, dude.
Absolutely. This shit's hilarious.
Like, come on.
That's some tasty distillate right there we're hitting on.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, that's nice and strong. That's nothing but pure THC and terpenes. 88% THC and then 12% terpenes added. Nice Jack Harrer. I'm not a real big fan of a lot of different vapes, but that distillate, I'm getting it down to Trike. That's their house brand down at Reef Dispensary.
Yeah.
That shit's on point. 10% discount for locals down there now.
Oh, really? I didn't know.
Yeah. New thing they
It's
just
pretty
did.
cool.
It's about time.
Yeah, I used to get those ones. I used to get the KK ones. Those are fucking pretty intense.
I don't think I've tried those.
It's pretty crazy. Go for it.
I like the
It's fucking 97, dude.
97, really.
Yeah. It's because it's a Khalifa Kush.
Yeah, I saw them on there. They're a little bit more expensive. I didn't buy them.
Yeah.
I'll have to pick that up next time I'm down there. Well, that about wraps up the lightweight title picture, though, right? But
Yeah,
we still don't know
that's-
what we're going to do. We're still left with Poirier, Lee, and Alvarez,
Well, I think by
and
November,
Ramadan.
by November we'll know. Mm-hmm. Which is a long fucking time to wait.
We'll have a good idea what's up with Conor after June. After his hearing
after
in June, we'll know
we'll
what's up with
explain
that.
most of it, but I really think there needs to be a Poirier Alvarez fight.
I'm in 100% agreement, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think fucking Alvarez is ever going to do it
I just don't think
again.
either of them has a good enough win, though, to really just sit on the sideline and be like, my title shot's next.
No, me neither. So Lee fights one of them. Can Lee beat either of them?
I think he could beat both of them, honestly.
I think he could too. Lee, you know what impressed me the most last night, and this is no fucking amazing, observation, but when he took that wheel kick from Barboza, he kept his wits about him. He immediately went in for that takedown, and he recovered. He didn't lose it. Yeah, he kept his wits about him and taking a hell of a fucking shot.
Because he's showed it in the past.
And he was doing the Humpty Hump out there, man.
Yeah.
He was going. He was all over with the chicken dance when he took that hit.
Hell yeah.
You know? But he had enough sense to get in and still get that takedown.
He's mature. He's been in the UFC for so long. I feel like he's just maturing more and more and more. That's why people keep saying we haven't seen Kevin Lee like the fighter yet. But at the same time, it's like every time you see him get in there, there's like another part of his game where you're like, wow, he's really stepped it up. And in this fight, I feel like he really just showed everyone that, I can fight and I can beat guys just like all your top champions and all your top guys are doing it at the end of the day. But I think the only thing that I think that fucked him up was the weight cut. The weight cut ruined his chances. You know, how do you make that fight knowing that he could possibly miss it again? Knowing that he struggled with this weight cut for a long time and has been calling for a 165 division. How do you make another title fight with this kid? Doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
I feel like he would have to beat both of them to get a title shot at the end of the day.
I think he's got a better chance of getting matched up with one of those two while Nurmi's on the sidelines and we're waiting on Conor than we do of seeing Alvarez versus Poirier. I just don't think Alvarez is going to.
I just don't see, and for the top three guys, Conor, Tony, and Nurmagomedov, I don't see any of them taking fights that are not against each other at the end of the day. Like, I don't see Nurmagomedov taking Poirier or taking Alvarez or even taking Liam. Like, fuck that, dude. Give me Tony Ferguson again. Fuck that. Give me Conor McGregor again. We're like you said, world fucking tour, dude. And that's why I think this June thing matters so much too. Because if he gets this legal shit out of the way in June, then we're talking July during our International Fight Week. At the end of the pay-per-view, they announce in November at MSG or Vegas, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They announce Conor McGregor, Khabib Nurmagomedov, and they announce the world tour that will ensue in the next 8 weeks. And
you called it, brother. That's
like
the big fight week announcement.
What will happen? Yeah,
all waiting on that June.
I mean,
shit.
I don't
You're right.
know anything behind the scenes, but I feel like that's what makes.
No,
sense.
you called it. I agree.
It just makes.
If events play out like that, I could totally see that.
It makes
happening.
the most sense.
Hell, I hope that is what
money.
happens.
The most
And
money,
I hope they announce it right here in Vegas so we can be
that'd be
right up and
badass.
involved with that. Absolutely.
And then
We've
so
got
that pretty much lights up the lightweight.
the lightweight title picture. That's what we're looking at. Now we got a pretty big fight on the horizon.
Yep.
Come up with that fucking
On
Till
my birthday.
Wonder on your birthday.
It's a
Nice
fucking great birthday present right there,
Yeah.
dude. Darren Till, Wonder Boy. Fuck yeah. That's a scrap, dude.
I like that a lot.
I see, I could definitely see Wonder Boy, getting back into the flow of things. I don't think he gets the nod here, but at the same time, I feel like he gets a little bit more loose. Because I feel like when he fought Rory, he was real loose, was real fluid with all his strikes. When he fought Hendricks, obviously, he knocked him the fuck out. Real tough. And then I feel like when he fought Tyron both times, he kind of got a little too tentative with his strikes.
He seemed off in both those fights.
And
Second
then
one
when he
even
fought
more.
Masvidal, the same thing. He was just a little too tentative. And then, so I feel like in this fight, for him to beat Till, he's going to really have to open up. And with Till's Muay Thai background, if he opens up, he could be getting some fucking bombs thrown back at him,
I think
This is a
Till
tough
has
fight.
got more power than Wonder Boy, but I disagree. I think Wonder Boy is going to win this fight for the same reason you just said. He's going to loosen up.
Yeah.
I think
He's
Till's.
gonna have to, honestly.
I think Till's a little bit too much too soon.
Yeah,
with Wonder
I can
Boy.
see that happening. Till should have took a. I hate to say it, but he should have took that Leon Edwards fight. That
Yeah,
would've
he
made
should have.
sense for him.
There's nothing wrong with that. He
There's
should have
nothing
taken
wrong
that
with
fight.
another highlight reel knockout on your record, because I feel like that's how that fight would end up.
Dude, I fucking love Donald Cerrone.
Yeah,
That's my fucking guy right there. That's a bad motherfucker.
But that fucking knockout put him on the map.
And it put him on the map, but you don't get Wonder Boy after
Yeah.
beating Donald Cerrone at welterweight.
But if he, at the same time, if he wins this fight, you really can't deny him a title shot.
No, that's right. If he wins this fight, then I'm 100% wrong and
Yeah.
give the man a title shot. But I don't think I
I'm
don't see it
skeptical,
happening.
but I do think that he's legitimate. You know, I'm skeptical of his wins, but at the same time, I think he's a legitimate.
He's a
star.
beast. We'll see.
Is
That's
he
a fight
coming
I
alo-
can't
Is he
wait.
coming along a little too early? That's yet to be seen. You know,
He has taken some time off. I mean, if he's been working hard in this time
Fuck,
off,
man.
But-
It's a little too much time off. I feel.
yeah, I don't like it. He kept his name out of the headlines doing
Yeah.
it too. He should have taken the Leon Edwards fight.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it got him the Wonder Boy fight. It got him
Yeah.
the headlining shit in Liverpool.
You know what he
It's
really
going to
should
get
have
him
got?
an L.
It really should have got. I would have liked the Gunnar Nelson fight. That would have been a good fight for him.
They
You
talked
know,
about that fight.
And it would have been. Wasn't it going to be in London?
Yeah.
In London, two big European fighters. You know, both kind of at the same level. I think Till would probably win big, and it's I just feel like his name. If he just needs to add a couple guys like that to his resume,
If he could beat Gunner, that would say some stuff. Because
Yeah.
I mean, when Gunner's not getting fucking poked in the eye 4 times before he gets
Dude, those are
TKO'd,
vicious.
he's a tough motherfucker.
Fuck yeah.
You know, he can't be judged too much in my mind off the fucking goddamn 4-eye poke TKO.
It's tough though, man, because now Ponzinibbio is up there, so he's gonna fight everybody. But at the same time, the referees should be ready for any eye pokes they see because he's fought so many fucking times. He's poked every single guy he's fought in
Seriously.
the eye multiple times.
Not enough people are talking about that. He did it to Mike Perry too. He needs, if it happens again in his next fight,
Should find him.
the UFC needs to step in and say some shit,
Yeah,
but they
hey,
won't.
bro, simmer down. Well, he's already backed out of his next fight, so it really doesn't matter at this
Right.
point.
It's off anyway.
But back to Till Wonderboy. I mean,
Till
I feel
Wonder
like
Boy.
Till. Obviously, he's not. Now it's big time. Now it's time to put up or shut up.
Fuck yeah, it is.
You know, at the end of the day, I think he gets the job done though.
And if he does, he deserves his title shot. But if he doesn't, I don't think he gets hurt that much with a loss either. Because I don't think
Yeah.
Wonder Boy's going to come out and smoke him.
Yeah,
I think he'll win a decision, maybe a late TKO, maybe.
I could
But
see a decision.
I'm leaning much more towards the
I
decision.
think Till wins in a second round TKO.
That would be surprising.
I feel like that's the performance that he needs to put on to get the title shot.
Boy, would that put him right up in there.
Because not even Woodley could do that.
But then he's going to have to wait to see what happens with Covington,
See, I
RDA.
think that's why I think that fight was so fucking stupid. How do you make both those fights and then you make one an interim title shot? Because both these guys, all 4 of these guys, let's say Colby Covington wins and then Darren Till wins. How the fuck do you tell Darren Till that Colby Covington deserves a title shot over you? Because he beat RDA?
You know my viewpoints on this. WME is fucking up the
just
sport
stupid.
with their stupid interim
It's stupid,
titles.
Stupid.
It's ridiculous.
It's not even a main event either. Get the fucking title shot. Get
For those
that
of you
out
listening
there.
that don't know, there have been more interim
damn it.
titles since WME bought the UFC than there have been in the history of the UFC. In 20 years, there's been more in the past 2 years.
Yeah, it's because they just want fucking main events to be for titles.
Even fake titles.
Yeah.
I mean,
And that's not even a fucking main event, though. God damn it. This pisses me off.
oh yeah, I was so surprised they kept it. I mean, I could get their logic looking when they wanted that fight to be in Brazil and they wanted
Yeah.
it to be a title fight for that fucking Brazil card. It was like, okay,
Then when they took it
I
off,
see their thinking.
yeah.
I don't like it. I think it's
Yeah.
fucking up the sport, but I see their thinking. But then when they kept it and put it on the Chicago card, what the fuck is the point when Woodley's ready to go in 6 weeks after the fucking fight?
And then Till Wonder Boy, that fucking winner has to sit behind and wait 2 fights?
Do you think it was just the contract? I mean, the UFC could still gotten out of it. Can they cancel the fight even if the contract is signed, right?
Hopefully one of...
Jeez.
never mind, that's it. Hopefully one of them pulls out. But
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't wish injury on anybody, but
No,
hopefully
no,
some of them
but-
misses weight or something.
Something
And it
could
ends up
happen
not
where that
being
fight
for
just
an
gets
interim
canceled.
title
Yeah,
shot.
we don't need another interim title, especially with a
tired of
healthy
it.
champ. Same here, brother.
Or they just grab the whole card because it's trash anyway.
I think all the hardcore MMA fans are tired of this.
I'm tired of the interim titles, man. Done with it.
So you're picking Till, I'm picking Wonder Boy.
Yep.
We're both thinking. You're thinking TKO second. I'm thinking most likely a decision.
I could also see Till winning the decision, but I think it'd be a split. Like, I could see Wonder Boy winning unanimously, but I can only see Darren Till winning in a split decision.
Then who's in the rankings after them? You know what the problem is with these rankings is that they suck. They absolutely suck.
Suck donkey dick. That's the problem.
I wish that we could get either ditch the ranking system completely, or I realize that that's not likely to happen in the TV age. I think, can we please get some different,
Some proper voting towards
some
the
proper
rankings.
individuals on the voting board?
Like-
I cannot believe not a single major MMA journalist is on the voting board.
Yeah, I think it should do just like college football does it. You know, you have an AP, like, AP poll, you know, Associated Press. That's like, you have your top 25, then you have your coaches poll. So, you know, you have, just like you would have in there, you'd have your press vote on certain rankings, and then you'd have all the MMA, like, community, all their coaches and shit, they'd vote for what the rankings are, and then you have an AP poll and a coaches poll. And then all the fighters are going to be, like, you know, there's going to be differences in everyone's rankings, obviously. Like, you know, some people will be in there and some won't. But at the end of the day, everyone will have a general idea of who's the top guy, you know?
Right. I like that idea a lot better than the current system.
Yeah, it's fucking easy, though. You know, it's just college football's been doing it for years. College basketball, all these. It's just a formula that's so successful. You'd think that would be so easy for, like, a major fighting organization like that to have a system in place like that. But it's like, it's so strange how the UFC just, like, at the core has so many, like, strange flaws, like in the reffing, the judging,
Yes.
the ranking system. It's so weird because it's like, you guys have been around so long right now. Like, you think they'd evolve in behind the scenes, and like, don't get me wrong, the production and everything is so much better than it used to, and like the whole show of it and everything. But the small things that are ruining a lot of big fights in this company are not being addressed, and
All right, they're
it
small,
honestly
but they're
falls
very
back on Dana.
impactful. Yes. Rankings. And
Yeah.
All these things,
Super.
absolutely.
Just like just like we could have saw a Paul Felder fight Khabib Nurmagomedov instead of Alaquinta. I thought Paul Felder was a much better matchup than Alaquinta was,
Mm-hmm.
and a much more deserving fighter. Just because he took some time off, they dropped him off the rankings.
Now, for those of you listening that don't know what happened, Felder stepped up to fight Khabib before Alaquinta did.
And he made weight, so it would have been a title fight for both guys.
Absolutely. And the New York State Commission took a look at these ridiculous rankings that the UFC uses, which are generated by very minor, nearly unknown media members. And they determined that Felder was not ranked high enough to safely fight
Safely
Khabib.
fight,
It
yeah.
was a safety issue, which is
Safety issue.
which is fucking
Which is bullshit,
absurd.
because now when you look at the fucking rankings right now, they move Felder into the top 15.
Absolutely.
So what are they talking about?
Yeah, Felder had no fight, and yet now he's ranked.
Yeah.
So now it's safe for him to fight Khabib,
Yeah.
New York. These are ridiculous. Like, we were looking at the rankings earlier. Connor fell from number 2.
Yeah,
pound for
Connor
pound
goes
to
from
number
champion. So now it goes Khabib's champion, Connor's 1, Tony's 2nd, and Eddie Alvarez is 3rd, which doesn't make any fucking sense.
4. No, it doesn't. So that's another mess that WME they don't seem to be interested in fixing or even necessarily aware that there's an issue.
Yeah, and it's a problem, man. Like, dude, it's just so simple. It's just simple shit that could be fixed so easily. they won't even have to spend any kind of like ridiculous amount of money.
No, it doesn't require
fix
monetary
rankings,
investments. It
dude.
requires
Yeah.
time and knowledge.
Yeah.
Hire
And-
some people that know what they're
And
doing.
in the fucking digital age we live in now, every coach could have an app on their phone. They vote their top 15 in the weight class every week, send it in, and it's digitally just uploads. It's not that fucking difficult.
No, it's not. 100%.
You know what I mean? It's really
Well,
bad,
enough ranting about the flawed ranking systems. Up
Yeah.
next, we got a pretty hell of a good fight in the bantamweight division that's on the horizon. We've got Dillashaw versus Garbrandt 2.
Yep.
What do you think of that fight, Paul?
A good rematch. I think a deserving rematch for Cody. I mean, Cody had him dropped in the first round and then ends up getting KO'd in the second, which is it's a tough pill to swallow when you're a young champion. But at the end of the day, it's I don't think it's gonna really change how he fights. I think it kind of led like if you look at now they're not as hostile like in the interviews and the like at the 25 conference, they weren't that hostile towards each other. You know, they obviously talked that little bit of shit that everyone is expecting them to talk. But genuinely, compared to the first time, they're not really talking as much shit. They kind of gave each other their dues and, you know, like, yeah, he beat me the first time, but shit's going to change this time kind of attitude, you know?
Well, you know, Garbrandt threw some fire out just the other day on social media. You know, he's long made accusations of steroid use against Dillashaw.
Yeah.
But he refused to say anything more than that, and he came out on social media with some pretty strong EPO allegations.
That's just another hearsay thing, man. It's
It
just
is
like,
hearsay, but it's pretty serious fucking hearsay when you're tossing substance abuse allegations, and then statements along the lines that he was showing the team how to use it and get away with it.
And then you see Chad Mendez get popped. You know,
Chad
you
Mendez
see
with his
guys get
quote-unquote
popped.
hormone cream bullshit. It just makes you wonder. And
I'm
either
surprised
way,
Chad Mendez didn't blame it on hunting. If I was him, I would have blamed it on hunting. Because he hunts hella. I'd be
Does
like, yeah,
hunt.
it was the meat, bro.
some crazy tainted wild game. I don't like the accusation either way. I don't like it if it's false because it gets Dillashaw tainted with that in people's minds. I don't like it if it's true
You know what the problem is?
for obvious
though?
reasons.
The problem is we all hear when someone is accused of using steroids, but we never hear when someone's name is cleared of using steroids. I think that's the problem.
Part of that is with the USADA's bullshit system. But let's point out here, Dillashaw has never failed a USADA drug test whatsoever.
Yeah, we're not saying
This
he
is an accusation by a bitter
Yeah.
ex-teammate, let's be honest. Mm-hmm. But it's a
Who
strong
knocked him out.
accusation backed up by several members of the team.
members of the team, and multiple team members have been popped by the fucking USADA. So
Yes, so there's definitely some smoke there. We say as we fired up another one of these delicious Skywalker OG joints.
but dude, it's just tough because it's like you don't want to believe it because it's such a like what he's accusing him so harmful towards his career if it's true.
Yeah, that's the same thing Lance Armstrong was
Yeah.
using for so many years. And if it is true, it's very harmful. If it's not true, the accusation is harmful.
Yeah, because now, whether it's true or not, people talk. You know, at the end of the day, and it could ruin his name as a fighter in the community. People will no longer work with him and things like that. You know, pretty much kind of what happened to John Jones at the end of the day.
It's just what I was going to
You
say.
know?
John Jones, up until he had this most recent steroid failure, had always had those stories of hiding under the gym, you know, or hiding under the mats. Remember, hiding under the cage when all this, but it was bullshit. It was just bullshit stories.
Yeah.
But then, you know, if Dillashaw were to fail for something in the future, it would certainly validate these types of claims in a lot of people's minds.
Yeah.
Either way, it's fucked up. Rematch, though.
Rematch should be tough. I think Cody takes it this time. Ends up in a trilogy.
I like Dillashaw. I think Dillashaw is going to school him even worse. I think
I don't know because I think it's just a matchup thing.
I think
because-
Dillashaw's really good.
I don't know though because I think Cruz beats him again.
You think Cruz beats Dillashaw? I think Cruz with good feet beats Dillashaw, but that's
What I was
Dominic
gonna say
Cruz.
because I think when Cruz fought Dillashaw, his plantar fasciitis was so obvious.
Yes.
I know. Sorry, when Cruz fought Garbrandt.
Garbrandt, yeah, I knew what you. Yeah,
yeah.
Garbrandt, absolutely. It was his feet. Yeah.
Yeah, his foot. He was just slow.
He's too much of a fucking man to put it out there that was why he lost. But I mean, if you know, he's a fighter that relies so much on his movement. That's fucking crippling. And he looked off. He looked slow. Well, why is he fucking slow? Why is he not moving?
And everyone just seemed to appropriate it towards age.
No, it's his
feet, everyone
man.
was just like, he's just getting old, he's took so much time off. But really, when you look at the fight with him and when he fought Dillashaw, he looked fucking on point, man.
Dude, so impressive.
Yeah.
When he came back and blitzed Mizugaki.
Work,
yeah.
We watched that shit at work.
It was unbelievable. I think that's ultimately why we wound up with Dillashaw versus Garbrandt, because Dillashaw didn't want to give him the rematch, but when Cruz broke his arm and fell out with Rivera,
I don't think Dillashaw wants that Cruz rematch at the end of the day.
I'm not surprised at that thought. Especially now that he's champ, it's a low percentage fight. There's a lot of risk there, and the way the UFC pays their fighters, I mean, the difference in your life between being a champion and being a not champion. I don't blame a lot of these guys for playing it safe and wanting to hold on. It's a whole different fucking world. And Dillashaw just had a kid, He's looking out for shit like that.
Yeah,
I think he beats Garbrandt. I think he's going to beat him pretty emphatically, in my opinion.
I think
you think he's going to you think Garbrandt's going to KO him or just win a decision?
I could see Cody Garbrandt winning in like a flash KO, setting up a trilogy, which I think Dillashaw wins the third fight, but I just think it ends up in 3 fights. Just because I don't know, because Cody is also evolving as a fighter, is what people need to realize as well. He's a young guy still.
Cody is a young guy. He doesn't have very many fights. He's got a solid future ahead of him, but Dillashaw's evolving too. And Dillashaw, since he's been with Dwayne Ludwig, his improvement's very impressive. And Dwayne's a big smoker. Dwayne gets really stoned, sits there and watches fights, breaks down film, and comes up with combinations for his fighters while he's high. Did you know that?
Really? Nope.
Yeah, indeed.
I don't know. I don't really like Dwayne Wood.
Oh, he's a bit of a douche, him and his fucking peanut butter. Yeah. But I like the fact that he smokes cannabis. I'm all for anybody in the MMA community taking advantage of some cannabis.
Yeah, dude. Boy, Sean, dude, up at throwing up the fucking joint, dude.
Yep.
Like Nick Diaz.
Pulling the Nate Diaz tribute now. Yeah.
Yep. He said he didn't even get in any trouble from the UFC either, which is great.
UFC's embracing it. It helps that the UFC's here in Vegas. And
it was in Arizona. Is Arizona legalized?
Arizona has medical right now. They were voting on
because it was
recreational,
in Arizona, right?
But I'm not certain the results of that, if it happened yet or if it's upcoming. But they don't have full rec, to my knowledge.
Yeah. But yeah,
they do have medical.
That's a good old little little camera flasher, dude.
Dude, that kid's turning into a star pretty quick, and he's embracing the whole weed lifestyle.
I don't know if he can fight anytime soon with that ankle injury.
He's calling for a main event in his next fight.
Why?
I don't know.
I
don't want the UFC to rush him. Don't give him the goddamn Sage and Page treatment where you're giving him
he's a
too
bantamweight?
much too soon. Yeah. I mean, he's 2 fights in off the Contender Series. He's good.
Sterling, dude. That's a good welcome to the fucking top 10 fight.
I don't like that fight. I think AJ's too much for him right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If that's the fight I think the WME makes for him, though, is what I'm saying.
They should give him Alex Caceres.
Alex Caceres.
I mean, give him a decent, well-seasoned fighter that's been around a minute. Caceres
Alex Caceres isn't even up there anymore. He's fucking fighting featherweight now.
I thought he was still down at bantamweight.
No, he's going to fight Artem at featherweight.
Oh, that's right, he was. Well, give him somebody in that, a seasoned veteran that's been around and had some fights. Dude,
give him Brian Caraway.
Brian Caraway's not going to take that fight.
But yeah,
Brian Caraway doesn't take
times
fights.
in a row, dude. Maybe twice in a row that happens to him.
Brian Caraway's going to ask Misha. He's going to be
give him Thomas Almeida.
Thomas Almeida's way too much right now.
Dude, fuck no. That's a good fight. Just two strikers straight up.
Oh no, Thomas Almeida. Wait, you're right. I was thinking Jimmy Rivera in my head.
No, not Jimmy Rivera. Thomas Almeida, the one from Brazil.
Yeah.
The one that
that's
got
a good fight.
KO'd
All right, I like
by,
that. Yeah, he just got knocked the fuck out. Yeah. Give him Thomas Almeida. I like that fight. Almeida was somebody else, a young star on the come up. Yeah, I like that.
I mean, he's lost some steam, but he was pretty big when he knocked out. Who was it?
Yeah, he's lost some steam, but he's had some experience.
Yeah,
he's been around. He's a good striker. Win over Almeida's
it's a name
good.
that I could. It's a name that I could agree with. That could be the main event on a Fox card.
I could see that. You can main event that on Fox. Yeah. You can make O'Malley the star.
Or maybe the Fight Pass. Probably be better. I saw him fight live. It was pretty sick.
Who's that, Almeida?
Not.
Oh, Sugar Sean?
Sugar Sean, dude.
Yeah, you went to that last UFC event.
Yep.
We should try to hit up one of the events during fight week. They'll have a smaller one at the Palms. I'll do a tough finale at the Palms.
Try to get.
That's a good venue to see us fight at. Man, there's only 5,000 people there. Yeah. It's a nice tight little.
They're like $80 seats.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Get to see the Ultimate Fighter finale, probably.
I caught the first episode of The Ultimate Fighter. It was all right.
Yeah.
I like watching it. I know a lot of the hardcores like to clown on The Ultimate Fighter.
I like the older ones. The new ones, I'm not a big fan.
I like the newer ones because they don't focus so much on the drama. Since it's been on Fox, they focus a little bit more on fighter history, at least in the early shows, and they show you some background on these kids, which I like. It makes me care about their fights a bit more.
Yeah, but still, my favorite season is that fucking Nate Diaz, Gray Maynard,
that's classic. Yeah.
Manny Gambarian, fucking.
That was good shit.
There's some good fighters came out of that fucking one. Cole Miller, fucking. Dude, there's some fucking.
Dude, Matt Serra just made it into the UFC Hall of Fame over the weekend.
Yeah, shout out to Matt Serra, dude.
Tough winner, season 4.
Then he KO'd GSP. Woo!
It was pretty awesome seeing that footage last night. If y'all were watching the fights last night too, seeing that footage of Serra doing that.
And then also
beautiful.
Then you watch Aljamain put a fucking performance like that on last night as well.
Aljamain looked great last night.
Just to put the icing on the cake. It's a great night for Matt Serra.
It's just what he needed. Aljo needed to fucking come back and put on a strong performance against a good unbeaten fighter like that. Yeah. Kid looked tough. He did real good. That's what he needed.
Yep.
I like him a lot. I was sad when he got KO'd, but dude, that's the way you rebound. Bro. You rebound good from it. He didn't let it seem like it didn't let him fuck him up mentally. He talked about it even in the post fight. What happened.
He posted on Twitter after it happened.
Yeah. Dude, that's the way you handle a loss. Take notes, Rhonda. That's how you handle a loss. Fuck.
Rhonda can't go back in time to talk to you about that, all right?
That's terrible. Still don't get that whole thing.
Yeah, that's a personal thing with her. She just can't accept what happened, unfortunately. But it's like at the end of the day, you had your run, dude. It's the sport's ever evolving, and there's never going to be a time where someone is just dominant forever, There's always going to be someone who's younger, better, faster, who's training harder than you, who doesn't give a shit,
Fight game's vicious.
Rhonda's doing her movies, doing her shit. Yeah, different trainers, all this shit. It's like, yeah, at the end of the day, Amanda Nunes was down in Brazil just fucking scrapping with Cyborg and shit like that for her whole fucking life. And then comes up here and just beating bitch's ass. Wasn't she on the Ultimate Fighter too? Nunes, wasn't she? I could have swore she was.
I don't believe so.
Pretty sure she was.
Could be. I mean, there's 27 seasons. It's hard to remember all of them.
I think she was on the one where Ronda and Miesha Tate were the coaches.
I remember that season. I watched it.
But
anyways,
that's beside the fact. Just there's always someone younger, faster, stronger underneath you. Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor. Everyone's time comes to an end.
Ronda didn't want to keep fighting. She had no desire to keep fighting. Otherwise, she would have changed camps. She would have evolved her game.
For sure.
She wouldn't have stuck with fucking Edmund Tarberdian.
Dude, and she's just embarrassed, which is the craziest part. It's like, how can you be so embarrassed?
I don't know. Look at Conor. Conor got humiliated by Nate Diaz in the biggest fight of all time.
And he's just running back.
And he showed up at the fucking at the press conference right after like a man.
Yeah.
It was like, yep, got beat.
Got beat. Shit happens.
And then ran it back like a fucking man.
Yeah, and then got
at the same circumstances, same weight. I mean, we all know the story.
Yeah.
It's a fucking beautiful thing. That's how you handle yourself.
Same thing, GSP.
Damn.
GSP was...
Yeah.
Never saw it coming. Got knocked out by Matt Serra. Shit happened. You know, he showed up, did what he had to do. He said, all right, it's my turn. Let's run it back. And then just mauled him.
Exactly. Not only is he the highlight reel of the greatest upset of all time.
Yeah, but then the second time was like the greatest beatdown of all time.
Exactly.
Because he fucked Matt Serra up the second time.
And that's why Ronda's just, I'm disappointed.
But like, even in situations like that, like, yeah, maybe Aldo didn't handle Conor's situation that well. But then when Max Holloway just whooped his ass twice, he was pretty much like, fuck, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, the time shit happens.
He handled it better than Rousey.
Yeah.
1,000,000 times better. But, you know, that's what it is.
That's what, at the end of the day, man, that's what's, like, so interesting about the fight game. It's, like, so mental at the end of the day. It's such a physical hassle that at the end of the day, you have to be there mentally 100%. And you're just fucking, you got to go, man.
You got to maintain it outside of the fights too. I mean, look at Conor's recent meltdown. I mean, obviously it's a fucking mental lapse. I mean, you want to go back up your boy, that's great. Like we discussed last episode, the whole thing was great until he was like, I'm gonna throw this fucking dolly through this window.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the mental game? That's the mental breakdown right there.
100%.
It happens inside the cage, and you get knocked the fuck out.
And you see that a lot, like when. That's kind of what Conor does to people. That's what's strange to see him act like that, because usually people don't get to him like that, you know?
Right.
Well, whereas to like when he fought Alvarez, he had Alvarez so shook. As soon as he hit him once, he was like, "Oh God, I'm gonna lose. Try to survive." And then same thing, Poirier. He got in Poirier's head so much, and then just stuck Poirier one time hard enough, and he kind of just gave up.
Yep.
You know.
I know. I hope this isn't a sign of bad things to come with Conor, because you hear about those 2 Irish gangsters he brought with him? Dude, he brought a couple straight G's out to New York with him. Yeah, a couple of brothers or some well-known gangsters, has some 60 convictions between the 2 of them.
What the fuck?
Yeah, dude, that's who he roll out with.
Roll out.
I mean, he needs to be careful.
Yeah, fuck.
You get that fuck you money. Look what happened to Tyson. I mean,
yeah.
Not that he's going to get bled dry by a Don King type, but you can just make bad decisions when you get that kind of fucking money.
Well,
we all
fuck,
know it.
man. I think he already made a really bad decision.
Yeah.
We'll see how much money he has when he's done with it.
Let's hope he does what he did when shit happened with Nate Diaz. Like, he lost his head up to that, and then he was like, okay, he came back to his senses and got shit done. So maybe this will bring him back to his senses.
Get him in the fucking octagon, dude.
Get him in the fucking octagon doing what he does best. But shit, after that, after Cody and old Dilly,
Dilly.
we got the main showcase of, Fight Week coming up.
Fight Week, it's gonna be great, dude.
Yeah, we got DC Stipe on there.
Stipe.
We've had a bunch of fights announced.
Ngannou versus freaking Lewis.
Oh man,
that is a scrap, dude. That is a scrap. And then a fight that no one wants to see, Suntao versus Font.
It was announced, and we'll just skip right on through.
Yeah, we already know the winner of that.
The Ngannou-Lewis fight gives me goosebumps. A Suntao versus Rob Font takes them right away. But then we got a barn burner with Medeiros.
Medeiros Perry, dude.
Yeah,
that's a fucking fight.
That's another fucking barn burner.
And then finally confirmed, but everyone already kind of knew about it. Holloway Ortega, fucking scrap
for the featherweight championship of the world.
Yeah. So let's just go from let's start with Holloway Ortega. Who do you got?
God. I mean, right now, and this could change. I have to go with Max Holloway. just because he's got that experience. And we didn't see enough of Ortega. As impressive as he was against fucking Edgar, it was over pretty quick.
Yeah.
But that was his first shot against a really super high-level fighter, and he did spectacular, but we didn't see a whole lot, and I don't really think he's going to come out and KO Max Holloway.
I don't see that.
I got to right now say Holloway.
See, just for the fact of argument, I'm going to go with Ortega. Honestly, no, I kind of am going to go with Ortega in the fact of I just don't see if Ortega were to get Holloway down, how he would handle that situation. It'd be real tough.
I want to see that.
It'd be real tough for Max.
I want the answers to those questions.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because Max got dominated by Conor on the ground. No offense to Conor, but
Conor with a fucked up knee, too.
Yeah, but he got controlled on the ground by Conor.
Yeah, exactly.
Ortega's another fucking animal, dude. Like, he's a whole nother game. There's no way that he'll be able to handle Ortega if he has not been really working on his ground game. Which, honestly, he could be. Don't get me wrong. But I definitely could see Ortega taking the title, dude. That'd be intense.
That would be something.
Would he be
he's a whole different body type. Holloway's a whole different body type than Edgar was.
Yeah, he is.
You know.
Ortega's a big boy, dude.
He is. They're pretty equal in size, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he's got the striking chops.
The thing is with Ortega though that makes his striking different. It's not high level in the rhythm and the combinations like Holloway's is, but what Ortega's striking is that Holloway's isn't is Ortega's so much more creative with his striking. You know, Ortega throws like spinning elbows and jumping knees and all kinds of different strikes that you're not used to seeing, And
he seems to be very intelligent about it. When in that Edgar fight, he was missing with that hook, and he knew to switch up to that elbow to get that KO, and he saw that and recognized it pretty fast. So he's got striking. He's got the intelligence in there, He's
got the fight IQ,
and he knew how to execute that inside the stress of the fight. So you could be onto something there. There could be a lot more to his game than we know. Obviously, because we haven't seen a whole lot at this higher level.
I'm not saying that he's going to beat Holloway on the feet, but I think he's going to be a lot more creative than Holloway is. I could see him throwing a lot more spinning techniques, a lot more jumping techniques than Holloway is, Just because Ortega's they're going to have about the same reach, but Holloway's going to be pushing forward. And I feel like that's going to be kind of end up being not him backing up, would end up doing like a spinning elbow or maybe like a spinning back fist, just catching Holloway from pushing the pressure into him, just to maybe not knock him out, but just to get him off him, and then end up taking it to the ground. And I just don't think Holloway can handle them on top.
Imagine if Brian Ortega becomes champ at this age in the featherweight Shark Tank.
How old is he right now?
I think he's 24.
I think he'd be the youngest champ ever.
And he's such a mild-mannered.
Oh yeah,
champion.
He's a good guy,
he would make a very good representative for the sport.
He's a good guy, dude. He does a lot of charities. He's
100%.
He's a good dude.
And I think for every Conor McGregor that we have, we need somebody like him or like a Rose Namajunas. That's the opposite end of the spectrum.
To level everything out.
Absolutely, y'all can't be Conor.
Yeah,
which is a problem in the UFC right now. We need people that are willing to be themselves, even if it's someone like Rose.
Don't get me wrong,
all
Conor's one of like my favorite fighters.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
But I just when I can see how when other people are like faking it, it's just so phony. You know what I mean?
It's cringeworthy, man.
Yeah.
It's terrible, dude. Fuck that shit.
So moving on, we'll go ahead. Medeiros and Perry. Who you got?
I like Mike Perry by KO.
Think so?
I think so. And that's not a knock against Yancy Medeiros. And I wouldn't be shocked if Yancy won. But that's just what I'm going with.
You know why I think Yancy gets the nod, dude? Because Mike Perry, once again, took a fight too early. And Medeiros is the wrong guy to take a fight too early.
I will agree he's taking a fight too early.
Medeiros has fought in every fucking weight class imaginable, dude. He fought 205. He fought 70. He fought 55. He's fought everywhere, dude. Like, he's one of those guys that is just like an old school guy that, he'll fight whenever, against whoever,
Mm-hmm.
And I think Perry is trying to be like him, but he's not as versatile. He needed to take time off. He needed to switch, not necessarily switch his camp, but he needed to switch some things around. Why are you? I no offense to him or his relationship or whatever, but his girlfriend cannot be his trainer. Like you listen to her.
Well, that's over now. Yeah, that's done.
Like he's over. Beat him up. What the fuck, dude?
I know that's embarrassing.
Punch his face.
Well, this is where I'll agree with you for sure on that. I do agree. He's taking the fight too early, and he needs to do something to switch up his camp. But as far as I know, not that I'm up in his personal life, but there was reports that him and his girlfriend broke up. So I would imagine that means that she's not his
You're ruining my fucking career.
She's not his trainer or going to be in his corner with the brilliant Edmund Tarverdian level advice of beat him up.
Beat him up, beat him up, beat him up.
Yeah, so that's a plus. I think he's taking the fight too early, but I think he gets it done. I think he's a lot bigger
Honestly,
right now.
I think both these guys are kind of taking fights too early. Medeiros is coming off a knockout from Cowboy not too long ago.
And Medeiros is also, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's coming up from 155. I know he's fought all over.
No, he fought 70 when he fought Cowboy.
Yeah, he fought Cowboy, but prior to that, this is his second fight at 70, but he's coming up from 55 after that.
Yeah, I think so.
And Perry...
He's fought everywhere, though,
Perry's
dude. So
huge,
it's like,
man.
It's like really when Yancey, whatever fucking weight class he wants to fight at, dude. Because he fought middleweight.
Oh, I love Yancey Medeiros. I think he's fucking awesome,
so
dude.
many different weight classes.
Dude's
dude.
a
He's
warrior.
just one of those classic fighters that are just like, oh, 205, all right, let's do it. You know, 185, all right. 155, oh, fuck, I'll cut the weight.
He's got that BJ mentality. BJ fought Machida at fucking 205, man.
Fought Mark Hunt, didn't he?
Yeah. All kinds of crazy shit people don't remember.
Yeah.
But, well, that's a hell of a fight, though. That's a great fight for us fans.
It's a great fight.
This is just
it's
another killer
great
fucking on the
hardcore
lineup.
fight.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
We already said Sun Sao and Fawn knows that shit.
Dude, how fun is Ngannou versus Lewis press conferences? We got to go. You know, they're open to us here in the public here in Vegas. We can go see, Ngannou's language problems might keep his shit talking against Lewis.
Lewis might tear him up because of it, too.
Absolutely.
Lewis might just use it so much against him.
It could be fucking priceless, man.
Dude, Lewis is a fucking funny dude.
He's hilarious.
He's a badass, though, too.
Folks, listen, if you don't follow Derek Lewis on social media, Instagram, Twitter, you need to.
And don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but he's an even better person. During the hurricanes in Houston, he stayed back and was picking people up and helping people
personally,
out.
doing shit himself. Yeah, picking
that's
people up who were getting washed away.
Yeah, that's just like extremely admirable. As a person, it has nothing to do with.
Yeah, he didn't sign up with some charity or some kind of famous person and go down and do some token bullshit.
He's just being a crazy
dude got his pickup truck and went out and found some people that needed help and was like,
"Fuck yeah,
grab my hand, dude.
Let's roll."
And that is fucking awesome. He's a cool dude.
He's a cool dude.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he's super funny.
Fucking calls out Ronda Rousey all the time.
Yeah, dude, he fucking
so
knocked
funny.
Travis Brown the fuck out, and he's like, "Ronda!"
Where Ronda Rousey's fine ass at.
It's like Mr. T, dude. Hey, woman.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh, dude.
If he beats Ngannou, that would be pretty awesome.
Dude, he beats Ngannou. He has a legitimate argument that he should fight for the title.
Absolutely.
I mean, he lost a Hunt, though, right?
Yeah, but
lost a Hunt, picked up a win
in
against,
heavyweight. A 1-win streak can.
Yeah. Well, no, unquote. But he lost. He lost to him, but then he picked up. Who did he beat? Who is it that he just beat?
He just beat So you ask these questions after we've done smoked all this. I can't remember offhand who we beat, and I don't have my notes in front of me.
Tiber or something? Martian Tiber or something like that?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And then picks up a W against Ngannou. That's a serious win if he were to do that.
Derek Lewis is a good fighter.
Derek Lewis,
he's got game.
He gets dominated by Stipe, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, Stipe is the GOAT. Stipe is going to stay the GOAT.
Or Stipe loses, and then they give Derek Lewis DC. Derek Lewis KOs DC.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
I'd love to see that. But DC's not winning that fight.
DC's not winning, and DC's not fighting again.
So let's just move it on. So I'm guessing you're going with Stipe as well?
Yes, I like Stipe.
You already know how I feel about DC. He's a disgrace to human beings.
I don't like DC at all either. I'm not a fan. I don't get the love.
Yeah, he's a bitch.
DC is
he's so fake, man.
They
He's
should
so
have seen
fake,
him
but
on
it's like
Tough.
condescending at the same time.
yes.
Fuck that guy, dude.
Did you hear? Why doesn't he get called out for the bullshit that he says like about John Jones? Did you hear his recent thing when he was like, I think to understand John Jones, you'd have to do a lot of illegal drugs to understand what's going on in his brain.
Jesus Christ.
And then people are like, oh, DC's such a nice guy. Like, really?
He's kind of a fucking dick.
Like, you're kind of an asshole, dude.
Yeah, he's a little bitch. And now he's like starting shit with guys on his team on the Ultimate Fighter. Like, get over yourself, dude. This show's not about you. This show's about these fucking guys trying to get their way to the UFC. And you're fucking in their way, beating them up in training. Like, you're fucking 205 pounds. These are
I didn't like that. He was in the cage.
They're fucking featherweights.
Like, doing light sparring with, like, lightweights,
Yeah.
featherweights, with him and Kane.
Yeah, dude.
And the guy's getting all frustrated. He's like, I
can't
can't stop you. I'm like, well,
no fucking
no
duh.
shit, dude.
Yeah, like, get the
Like,
fuck out of here.
I didn't see the point of it except to... You know,
That just doesn't make
I'm not
any
a fan.
sense, bro. Like, why?
Stipe's going to beat that ass.
Stipe's gonna fuck him up. But then again, dude, if he beats Stipe, like, holy shit.
I really hope that doesn't happen because we're going to have to hear about he's the fucking GOAT like John Jones didn't knock his fucking ass
John
out.
Jones knocked him out twice. Everybody and their mother has seen that shit. Everyone knows he will
They
never
knocked him
be
out
the
once,
GOAT.
but he beat him twice.
Yeah,
And he beat
he'll
him
never,
soundly.
He'll never
both
be the
times.
GOAT until he beats John. And I don't think he'll be around to beat John.
No.
Because worst
John's
case scenario,
got time,
worst
DC
case scenario,
doesn't.
John, he's fucked.
This is some chocolate OG we're firing up, grown by Verano here in Vegas, which is Zen Leaf's growing branch. It's pretty tasty. I like it. It's a chocolate Thai crossed with one of the OGs.
Nice. But yeah, man, I just don't see DC getting it, John. And if he does, fuck.
Now we got Brock having one fight left on his MMA contract, which he's going to save for a big.
The WWE, and everyone's like, "Don't freak out. He can still. He has no non-exclusivity clause, but it's like at the same time, he only has like 2 fights left on his UFC contract. So once those fights are up, he's done. So
see, I think that's the X factor. While I've been maintaining that DC retires, win or lose, Brock might change that equation. If Brock comes back and DC does manage to upset Stipe, he's already talking about back the bank truck up to my house because he wants to fight Brock. You know who's stewing about all this attention right now?
Who?
Mark Hunt.
Why?
Because everybody's on Brock's nutsack already.
What has he been saying?
Well, he's got the lawsuit against Brock.
Well, I knew that, but
And I'm saying he's stewing and he's pissed off right now because no one's talking about him as a fucking title contender. And Brock, instead of getting kicked out of the UFC like he wants to and losing all his money, is talking about coming back for a massive title shot. You know?
How mad would Mark Hunt be, dude?
Livid. But that's probably what's going to happen. I don't think his lawsuit's going to go anywhere.
I don't think so either.
I don't think you can fucking sue somebody when you say, yeah, he's on steroids and I'm going to knock him out.
Yeah.
And then when you lose the fight, he's not on steroids. He's on an anti-estrogen, mind you. Then cry no fair. Kind of silly.
Yeah, it's bullshit. If you didn't want to fight him, you shouldn't have accepted the fight. I don't care if you know he's on steroids or you don't know. If you don't want to fight him because you think he's on steroids, do not accept the fight and there will be no problem.
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, that's how it has to be. You know?
So that's UFC 226, the main showcase of Fight Week coming up. Then, of course, we'll have the tough finale and possibly others. I think right now we only have 2 cards announced for Fight Week. Sometimes they do 3.
Yeah.
Sometimes they do a Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, usually Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that should be sick, dude.
We'll have some more fights announced here in the future, and we'll discuss those, of course, on upcoming episodes, won't we?
Yeah. One more fight, though. I want to hear what you like about that Cerrone Leon Edwards. Who do you got?
I can tell you who I want to win.
Who do you think will win?
I think Edwards is going to win it.
Here's the deal. I think Cerrone just set himself up with the second Darren Till. You know, like, not saying Leon Edwards on Darren Till's level, but Cowboy, you don't stop taking these young guys that need a legitimacy fight. You know?
Absolutely, bro.
It's just
I want Cowboy to win. I don't think it's gonna happen.
yeah, it's fucking him over, dude.
I don't want to see him keep taking these fights, but I think Leon Edwards is gonna beat him.
Yeah.
Make a bit of a name for himself.
Shit, we will see. Well, I think that about does it, man.
I think it does. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for
We're gonna-
following, subscribing, liking,
Absolutely.
download, whatever you do. Thank you.
If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Be sure you hit that notification bell so you know when our next videos come out. We've got a lot planned for future episodes. If you're on iTunes, thanks for subscribing. You can find out more at SWATMMA.com. We're going to keep smoking this chocolate OG here. Hope you're smoking on some fine cannabis too.
Hell yeah.
Peace.